Greetings and bienvenue, Midnight Crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast. And welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
I used to work 4 p.m. to 1 a.m. at a Walmart stocking shelves and unloading trucks. I don't remember anything paranormal happening, but the night shift workers were pretty weird. They work from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. They're just weird people in general. They act strange and make animal noises while they stock.
Can verify that night crew at 24/7 places are weird. For a brief 2-week period, I worked night crew at a grocery store. Before and after that, I worked day shifts, getting off at 10 at the latest. The night crew was really close-knit, and while they didn't act like I was intruding on their club or anything, most were pretty chill to me personally. All they ever talked about besides superhero movies, which they were all uniformly obsessed with, was the job and each other. The funny thing is that they complained a lot, but since there were never any customers, they all endlessly complained about the day crew, despite never actually having to meet or interact with them. They were also surprisingly eager to shit-talk anyone on the night crew who wasn't right there with them. The manager was a former Marine who was chill but had a low-level death wish of some sort. He mentioned some vaguely horrible shit he'd seen and popped heroic quantities of pills. It was easy to put 2 and 2 together. Anyway, they were weird, just really close-knit and cut off from normal society. Apparently they scared off a bunch of newer people though, specifically an Indian dude who kept filing false HR complaints and some scene-looking girl, which led to some vague investigation of something, which led to literally every single person on the night crew getting fired. I still don't know what it was, but it must have been bad for such an incredibly lenient store to just straight up purge an entire department of like 14 people like that, manager included.
Work nights at a data center. Work downstairs primarily in the data center. Manager and programming office upstairs in another building across the parking lot. The office has a lowered ceiling with panels. I need to check upstairs every 3 hours to make sure nothing broke. 3 a.m., go upstairs and enter the office, head down a hallway. At the end of the hallway is a conference room. Behind the conference room is a room that holds really important servers, which is behind a locked glass door. Go check the door to make sure it's locked and none of the servers are on fire. Notice in the server room there is a panel open with a toolbox sitting on top inside the ceiling. Get kinda freaked out because the toolbox looks kinda like a foot. Realize that the entire ceiling is made up of easily removable panels. Get reminded of The Grudge and freak out more. Start walking back up the hallway, totally silent. Hear 2 quick thumps right behind me as if someone just dropped down from the ceiling. Nope. All the way downstairs to the safety of my desk. Still have to go back up at 6.
Be security guard for a private morgue a couple years back has about 50 bodies at any one time. Make £18, 60 pence per hour. Easy money. Boring as shit, 2:50 a.m. in the morning watching a film. I think it was Thor and drinking a cup of tea. Massive crash out of nowhere. Shit myself due to the quietness. Tea goes everywhere. Grab my torch and baton and head towards the noise where I notice a door is wide open and some cabinets are toppled out. What the hell? Notice that it looks like someone was standing at the corner hallway, but might just be my imagination due to the time regardless. Say, is anyone there? Come out now and you won't get in trouble for trespassing. Get no response. Pick the cabinets up, put them behind the door, and close it once again, locking it with my skeleton key. Have a quick look at the corner hallway before heading back to the front desk. Sit back down at around 3:15 a.m. wiping up the cold spilt tea. 1 hour goes by and it's close to 4:20 a.m. My shift is over in a little under 3 hours. Still pitch black, then I hear it. A scream emanating from that hallway. I checked. I panic. Grab my torch, my baton is out, and get a knife in my pocket anyway for backup. Charge into the hallway and notice the double doors at the end are open, as are 2 side rooms, despite them being locked the hour before. 2 lights are blown out. Run back to the front desk checking CCTV. Doors just blow open when that scream emanates. I don't know what to do. Start thinking of all paranormal shit. Breathing rapidly. Decide to tactical retreat and head back to the hallway. Lock the 2 doors in the hallway. Head towards the double door slowly. That's where I saw it. A body from the morgue was on the floor along with body parts. I'm nearly gagging. This woman's scream sounds again. I nope.avi the hell out of there. Run straight to the front desk. Auto-ring the police. No answer, which is 100% not possible. Hear laughing and footsteps from the hallway I came from. Guttural scream from the hallway opposite that one. Start praying under my breath. Grab my knife. Forget the baton. Auto-ring police again. Still no answer. Literally shaking like asleep right now. Start shouting, "I'm a son of God. Begone, beasts." Trying to remember anything that annoys ghosts and demons. I'm backing up towards the front doors at this point with my pass card ready in my left hand. Doors unlock and they open automatically. Fall outside. Call the police. It works. It's now around 5:15 or 5:20 a.m. or something. Dawn is slowly coming. They respond within 8 minutes or so. Tell them everything. They don't believe me, but check it out anyway. Get checked for alcohol, all clean. End me drug test when I get to station. They bring me in to check cameras. No footage for over 2 hours. They all went down around the time the first noise happened. No bodies or body parts in hallway, no broken lights. No evidence of anyone being there but me. The owner gets called in. Basically waves it off as a prank by a bored guard. Taken to the police station for questioning. There for close to 3 hours for statements. Nothing they can do as no crime took place but caution me for wasting police time. Go back a day later, tell the owner I quit, and give him back the pass card, uniform, and baton. He says, "You should have sated them. They're quiet then." Without even looking at me filling in some paperwork. Nope.avi and walk out. Never again. Creepiest thing that has happened to me. I'm getting shivers remembering it. I know what I saw and heard. I've guarded morgues before that one, but never experienced anything like that.
So not paranormal, but happened on a graveyard shift, and it's pretty messed up. I was working at a hotel in downtown San Francisco. The hotel is right on the border of big department shopping and crackland. The night crew is me, 1 front desk agent, 1 housekeeper, and 1 security guard. The guards come from a second chance company that gives ex-cons jobs. Needless to say, most of them were uneducated at best. Deliveries happen till about 2 a.m., stop and start up again at 4:30 a.m. The deliveries went in using a street elevator, pick-related. When the delivery stopped, security had to close up the elevator so crackheads don't sneak in and do crack-related things in the basement. No delivery time comes, so I radio the new day 1 guard to go close to the elevator. He starts talking on the radio, just a small convo. I hear the elevator moving in the background and he starts to say something else. Clang! Radio silence. Note the lock bar between the trap doors. So I went around the corner to S&W what the noise was. Guard is on the ground. The lock bar is bent and laying next to what was left of his head. He forgot to remove the 50 pounds bar before closing the elevator. It popped from tension and caved in his skull. Called 911. Checked for a pulse. Nothing, he died on the spot. After everything was cleaned up and gone, I found one of his teeth in the gutter.
Didn't really happen to me as such, but here you go. Working as a pit boss in a casino in the Midlands, UK a few years ago. Yes, I am an old friend. Some mook dealer manages to cut himself on a blackjack shoe. Claret all over the table. Needs to be written into the accident book. Go find the book, cursing the dealer all the while because nothing ever gets written in the book, and nobody knows where it is. Fill out the entry. The previous entry was 4 years ago. Valet injured by ghost in storage room on 2nd floor. LOL ghosts, someone's having a joke. Ask around, nobody knows anything. Most people didn't know there's a storage room on the 2nd floor, me included. Quiet night, screw this. It's my place. I'll go check it out. Take my break and head up to the 2nd floor. 1 locked door at the end of the corridor. Of course it's locked, you mung. Go get the keys. Go to the cash desk where the key cabinet is. No keys for 2nd floor storage. Ask the cashier about them. Like almost all casino cashiers, she's been there for decades. She grunts. Oh, we don't use that room anymore. Ask for the keys. They're gone. WTF, Doreen? I want the keys. You can't have them. They're gone. Ask the longest-serving manager the next day about it. He tells me to forget about it, tells me to stop bugging Doreen. Don't know if it creeped out or not. People said that weird things went on all the time in that place, but people say weird shit happens all the time everywhere when they're tired and hyped. First time I ever saw ghost attack, in an official report though, and the second floor was pretty spoopy, always much colder than the rest of the building. Lights always popping out and shit like that.
Is it possible to break into that room at all?
I don't work there anymore, haven't for years, but smashing in doors is frowned upon in a casino environment. Probably nothing at all in there but old roulette cloths and out-of-service chips and cards. I worked at another casino nearby, where a lot of the valets were Polish and Czech, and I'm not saying they're a superstitious bunch, but there was one part of the drink cellar that none of the Poles would go into alone. Who knows why, but they were adamant. The food and beverage manager had to go in there with them whenever they needed napkins or whatever they had squirreled away down there. Casinos are, perhaps unsurprisingly, foci of superstition and drama.
Dude, they're an old people murder cult that wish to sacrifice all young people. Run.
Hee. Casinos sacrifice everyone. They don't care who gets ground up in the wheels, as long as someone's getting ground. One of the creepiest things that happened to me after years in the business was I got interviewed by the old Bill after a guy walked out of the casino and drowned himself. Turns out I was the last person to see him alive, and the plod wanted to know if he had money on him and if there was any chance of foul play. I'm pretty cynical, but it actually shook me up a bit to think that I was the last person he spoke to, and maybe if I'd said or done just the right thing, he might not have topped himself. Then again, fuck 'em if they can't take the joke.
That's some heavy shit, man. I was pondering what the average casino worker or pit boss goes through every day. Players play and winners win and whatnot.
Mostly sore feet and crushing boredom, coupled with a few worthwhile moments of LOL and/or terror, to be honest. It's one of those jobs that people think is glamorous and exciting, but it's really just a factory to make poor people. Messes up your social life and your sleep pattern forever as well. I did think of another very slightly paranormal experience though. Greentext away. Be working late in wintertime. Shift finishes at 7 a.m., still inky black outside. Journey takes me home through a subway. Underpass to you, a merry friends. To be honest, I hate this subway. It's got a dogleg in it, and all spookiness aside, it's a perfect place for a mugger or whatever. As I turn into the subway, hear skittery clicking behind me. Ho ho, you're not going to scare me, Mr. Fox. Sure enough, it's a fox. They use the subway to avoid the traffic too. Walk through the subway, Mr. Fox keeping a respectful distance behind me, but not at all scared. As I clear the subway, he comes out behind me, and I wave goodbye on a whim. Exactly the same thing happens the next day, and the next. Idly making conversation with an older Chinese lady customer on my last shift, and somehow the subject comes up, and I tell her about this odd fox who's following me on my journey home. She tells me that Mr. Foxy is a slippery customer, powerful juju, etc. I need to be careful. Mention to her that I always wave goodbye to him. Ah, that's good. You show respect. She really did talk like that. Not racist, honestly. Walk home that night, last day of a 4-day week. Mr. Fox shows up bang on time like a commuter. I've got some sandwiches in my bag that I didn't eat. Drop them on the floor and tell Mr. Fox to help himself. Go home. Enjoy my 3-day weekend. Arrive at work for my next shift. Called into the manager's office. Expect a bollocking. Congratulations, Anon. We've decided to promote you to pit boss. Leave half a chicken for Mr. Fox by the subway the next day, but never see him again. Coincidence can be spoopy, hihi.
All right, this one is really the only one I've got, so here goes nothing. I used to be a volunteer on board a retired United States battleship that was retrofitted to be a floating museum. I only worked there for about a month, but it was enough for me to never go back again. The other volunteers were entirely composed of veterans and history buffs. I'm pretty sure I was the only person under 40 there. One weekend, we had a troop of Cub Scouts spend the night in our still usable bunks to see what it was like to live on board a ship like this. Part of the program involved the retelling of all the famous ghost stories that are common on these sort of vessels: people trapped in sealed rooms, dead soldiers unable to rest, etc. One night after our oldest volunteer took his turn at storytelling, the scouts were given a few hours to roam around the museum section of the ship before lights out. I didn't really have much to do because the scoutmasters were pretty good about keeping track of their own groups. But there was always that one jerk who saw being a master as a way to look good in front of others without doing jack shit. This guy, Carl, comes up to me at 11:30, half an hour after we went over the intercom and told everyone to go to their bunks. He tells me that some of his scouts weren't back yet, and he couldn't be bothered to look for them. Long story short, I got the short stick and had to go look for them in the lower levels of the museum portion of the ship. I was walking through the hallway outside the ship's medical office when I hear someone talking, but kind of staticky and fuzzy. I go down some stairs into this room with a TV screen for presentations, and I see that the film is running, which is odd considering it requires a manual switch to activate and shuts off with a timer. So I shut off the projector, which is what was making the fuzzy sounds, when I realized that the lights were still on, which are also on a timer. The scouts could pranking with me by turning on the projector, but there's no way they got into the locked electrical box to mess with the light timer. Continuing down into the ship's deeper levels, I start seeing the mannequins we have set up to represent various positions and workers of the ship when it was active. I jokingly have names for each of them, and I'm walking past them talking to them saying stupid shit like, "How's the wife, Frank?" when I see the one dressed like a janitor standing directly in the middle of the next room staring at me. This isn't weird, because the vets think it's funny to set up these guys so they look at people, but I still get the tiniest bit unnerved as I stop and look back at him. I decide to not go in that room, and instead head to the portrait gallery for famous pictures the ship is in or involved with. As I'm walking, almost running past all the frames to get to the end of the museum and find these damn scouts, I hear this deafening loud sound right above me. It almost sounded like a bomb going off, but it came from the speakers and had a definite crackle that I recognized as coming from a sound effect from some other part of the ship. How it played over the loudspeaker, or why I never found out, I noped and ran for the above decks. As I ran, I could have sworn the mannequins were in different places than before, but I was running too fast to look carefully, and honestly didn't care at that point. When I got back to the main deck, Carl had found his scouts 15 minutes ago and didn't bother to tell anyone, so my entire ordeal was for nothing. I checked the electrical switches and loudspeaker controls, but of course nothing had been touched since earlier that day. The veterans laughed when I told them my story, not because they didn't believe me, but because they were surprised I only got away with a few scares and no lasting damage.
Not me, but this happened to my dad a while before I was born. Come to think of it, it's a pretty run-of-the-mill spooky story, but for me, it's particularly concerning as my dad is a real, no-nonsense kind of guy. Dad is a builder. The job required him to work out of town and stay in a hotel, which is where he was working. The hotel used to be a post-World War II hospital. I know, right? Anyway, the hotel was currently renovating the previously unused top floor and only some rooms were finished. The hotel told him he could stay there half of the charge while working there, in one of the finished rooms on the top floor, that is. For some reason, the hotel had shared bathrooms in the hall rather than in rooms. That's rural England for you. Anyway, fast forward to night time. He wakes up late at night to go to the toilet. He walks down the corridor to the only bathroom that had been finished and sees that it is occupied, which is perfectly reasonable as there were about 4 or 5 other finished rooms on the floor, so it was likely one of the other residents. He returns to his room and waits a while and goes back, still occupied, waits a bit longer. As he goes back, an elderly woman in a nightgown exits the bathroom. He jokingly says to her something like, "I was worried you fell asleep in there." She completely ignores him, probably hard of hearing, and walks back and enters her room. Dad finally gets to use the toilet. Hooray! As he leaves the bathroom, he sees the woman again. This time she is stood in the middle of the corridor staring blankly a fair distance from him. He says goodnight to her out of politeness, despite being quite weirded out. Come morning, he tells the person on reception about the woman just to make them aware, in case she hurt herself in the night or anything. The receptionist looks at him puzzled, almost angry, and thanks him for informing them. But there are no other current residents on that floor, and that it was likely someone from another floor. My dad then tells the staff member that he saw the woman enter one of the rooms. At this point, the receptionist sighs and tells him that they frequently have complaints and messages about an elderly woman acting off, particularly of previous builders who were in the same situation as my dad and staying on the top floor, which explained why he was doing a job that was already about half done. Anyway, they offered him a full refund as long as he didn't mention it to other current guests. My dad stayed there until the job was finished. He even said he saw the woman again, briefly, in a similar place on one of the last nights. Despite this, to this day, he is still skeptical of ghosts and the supernatural, which I honestly don't understand.
Nice story. Sounds like denial. He doesn't want to admit he could have interacted with a ghost. It would mess him up too much. That, or he's a hardcore skeptic and thinks it really was some old lady wandering around where she shouldn't have been.
Could be it. He's one of those people who is never overly open or obvious with their emotions, so maybe he actually just wasn't all that shaken by it. It's funny because many people in my family have had paranormal experiences, but are either dull or quite pleasant compared to this one. The most curious one, however, would be my great-grandmother, who reverted to a childlike state weeks before death, also before I was born. Whether it was paranormal is arguable though.
Got some fresh OC for you guys, hot and fresh out the kitchen. Some backstory: I work in a pub in the UK, I work 2 late nights every week, I just got back from my second of the week. The pub is only 35 years old, but the building used to be a farm before that, and nobody knows how long it's been there. So, cut to 3 AM when I was closing up the pub with the night manager, walking downstairs after checking the store and bottle cage were locked. About to go to the residence bar as that's open past 3 AM. Quickly shout to the night manager if he wants anything else to do before I go through. He says, "Yeah, just hold on a sec." He comes back from chaining the fire exit. We had a break-in 10 days ago through it. I say, "What's up?" "Anon, can you just wait here a sec?" "Sure, but why?" This place scares the shit out of me late at night. I hate being here alone. Bear in mind, this is a guy I've seen chase down 3 6-foot-tall drunks and pin 2 down on his own. Okay, but why? Well, I've never seen it, but apparently there's a ghost here. Oh, really? Like what, from the fire? The pub burnt down twice in the past 30 years, 4 people died the first time. No, I don't think so. Apparently it's a farmer. He's followed some people around. At this point, I'm just like, okay, people here are idiots, and the pub is kinda creepy when we turn all the lights off. We walk through to the back, and I tell him I'm not the best person to have with him. If he's scared of ghosts, I tend to attract them. I've had friends never see one in their lives, and see one with me multiple times in different locations. Get to the main power switches, and we flick them off, then head back inside as we're walking under the stairs. Imagine a corridor cut in 2 with stairs on one side, then the upper hallways going perpendicular. I see something out of the corner of my eye upstairs. Think nothing of it. We walk through the pub and check all the dishwashers are off, etc., and make our way to the residence bar where I'll be the only one serving and he'll be doing the glasses and the other nighttime shit jobs. I realized I've left both my jacket and my tips in the main pub, so go back in. As I get to the bar, I feel something staring at me, which I've never felt there before. I get the stuff I need and take a look around the bar when I notice what looks like an old ass farmer carrying a pitchfork or something similar at the end of the bar, propping it up like a customer. I'm accustomed to ghosts after living in a couple of haunted places previously, so just get on my way. As I turn to leave, I notice so does the farmer. He walks right behind me down the length of the bar, through the kitchens, and up to the door leading to the residence bar. I didn't see him, but felt his presence and stare on me. I reach out for the door handle and take a look back, and I shit you not. This dude was 6 inches from my face, mean mugging me. Needless to say, I yanked the door open and got out of Dodge and went outside for a cigarette. Never told the night manager, don't know what to do as we're both on late shift again tomorrow. I don't think the farmer was malevolent in any way. If I was some dead farmer, I'd wonder why some kid was wandering the old farmhouse at 3 in the morning, taking clothes and money out with him. Kinda want to see Farmer Bro again to ascertain if he's a spoopy ghost or chill. Don't want the night manager to see him, as it will be a bad experience for both of them.
This actually happened to me just this summer. Been on vacation for 2 weeks, and now that I'm back, inspired me to come to /x/ actually. 20 years old, decide to get a summer job, applied to a gas station, told them I can work any hours they want me to. They stick me on night shift by myself. Not too concerned. Live in a smallish town with a low crime rate. Night shift goes fine for a few weeks. Our gas station has a cafeteria part, and one cafeteria worker always comes in at 3 a.m. sharp. Get to know Cathy. A middle-aged blue-collar worker. Is nice to me, but something odd about her. Stares at things a little too long. Ignores customers until I just say, Cathy, you have a customer, even if she was looking right at them. Find out from a coworker that she's a Jehovah's Witness. Oh, that must be why she's just a little odd. Few weeks go by working with Cathy. Really nice lady. We have conversations and I'd consider her a friend. One day while mopping the floor, I notice it's 3:20-ish a.m. That's weird. Cathy is never late. Think she's just running late or overslept. Cleaning the tables in the dining area when I hear someone come in, so I put down the rag. As I walk back into the main area, I hear the freezer door shut close and don't see anybody. Maybe just the Pepsi guy coming to stock drinks. Look outside, no Pepsi truck. Decide to go into the freezer to see who is back there, thinking it's a robber or something. Open the door and go into the freezer and walk in a bit. See Cathy sitting on the floor, sobbing hysterically. What's wrong, Cathy? Her skin is so red, like she had been laying in the sun for hours. Cathy replies, who has never cursed in front of me, I'm just so hot it feels like my skin is burning off. Oh, did you go to the lake or something this weekend? Cathy says, no, I just woke up like this. Thought it was weird, thought she was just being weird, so I brushed it off and left her in there for a few minutes. And then she comes back out and goes to the kitchen. Watch her carefully as she just stands in the middle of the kitchen, just staring blankly. Cathy, is the cafeteria open this morning? The coal miners are coming in soon, don't you think you should start? She just looks at me and stares for a good 30 seconds without saying a damn thing. Cathy? She seemed to just mutter to herself, yes. She started turning everything on and getting everything ready, but something was just way too off about her. Has the creepiest blank stares, doesn't respond to me, doesn't take her usual cigar break before the coal miners start coming in, doesn't respond to the coal miners. Coal miners come to me to check out and ask why Cathy is acting so weird. Not sure. Maybe she's just having a bad day. 8 a.m. now and time for me to get off work. Walk into the kitchen to check on Cathy and tell her bye. Hear her mumbling something in a foreign language or just something gibberish. Cathy, I'm off. I'll see you tomorrow. Cathy just looks at me in almost disgust and stops mumbling, not saying anything. All right, we'll see you then, I said and walked away. I walk away and she turns back to the dishes, just mumbling some random shit. Thinking it over at home, thinking it's a little weird, I brushed it off. Next day working, waiting for 3 a.m. for Cathy to come back in. She doesn't show up. About 4:30 a.m. or so, I decided to call her and ask her if she knew she was on the schedule to work. Calling her house, and finally she picks up. Hey Cathy, did you know you're on the schedule to work? If you're running late, I can clock in for you if you need me to. Can't come to work, busy. Hangs up on me. Thought it was weird. Told the boss she just called in sick. Didn't want her to get in trouble as I know she needs this job. The next few days, 3 or 4, the same shit happened. She didn't show up for work at all, and every time I called her, she would tell me she was busy, and she would hang up. On the final day she didn't show up, I was getting a bit pissed and called her. Cathy, you can't keep doing this shit. You're gonna get fired. I know you need this job, but I can't keep covering for you. Fucking leave me alone, she screamed at the top of her lungs. Something definitely wasn't right. A quiet, friendly, conservative religious woman acting like this out of nowhere. Off of work for a few days. Come back to work waiting for 3 a.m. to hit. Cathy shows up on time. Hey, Cathy, feeling better? She ignores me and goes straight to clock in. She's doing her normal routine pretty well. The only difference is she still isn't talking to me or customers. Seems like something is bothering her. I go back into the cafeteria to fill up the ice machine. Decide to not talk to Cathy until she's better. Look over and see Cathy in pain. Cathy, are you okay? I'm fine. No, I just have these pains all throughout my body. Maybe you should take a break. Do you need time off from work? You should tell the manager. No, it's just my chest, it burns. If I drop dead, just tell the EMT workers exactly what I said. Well, okay, Cathy, I hope you feel better. Maybe you should take a break. She ignores me and continues washing dishes. Time to clock out and decide to tell Cathy goodbye. Hey, Cathy, I'm off work. I'll see you in a few days. I'm off till Friday. Hey, Anon, do you believe in God? Thought it was weird. I knew she was a Jehovah's Witness, but she never talked about this stuff. Yeah, I do. I was raised Catholic. Well, don't what, Cathy? Don't believe in God, he's not real. Take my advice. Okay, Cathy, see ya. Thought that was weird enough. Never seen such a religious middle-aged woman say that or start acting this way. Fast forward to Thursday. I work the next day on Friday. Get a phone call from my manager. Hey, Anon, do you have a moment? Yeah, what is it? It's Cathy. She was found dead in her home. They don't know the cause of her death. Are you serious? Oh my God, this is terrible. Feel genuinely upset. Even though Cathy had been acting distant to me and somewhat mean, she was still so friendly to me in the past and was a genuinely good person. Go into work Friday, not the same without Cathy there. Cafeteria is closed until they find a replacement worker for Cathy. 3 a.m. hits and feels weird knowing that I'll be there alone for the whole shift now. Sitting behind the register when I hear something fall to the floor. Go into the cafeteria and see a pot on the floor. Thought it was weird. Brushed it off, maybe just the AC. A couple of minutes. Hear something else fall. Look over and see another dish in the floor. This is weird. The sink turns on by itself. Go to turn it off, freaking out a little bit. Pots and all the cooking stuff. About 50 to 60% of everything in the kitchen falls straight to the floor. I freak out and run outside and wait until I get another customer. Told my manager as soon as he got in. He was supposed to look at the security footage, but then I went on vacation for 2 weeks and worked again tonight. Gonna talk to him and see if we can pull up the footage. I don't really want to go back. A nervous, exciting feeling is inside of me.
Security guard here. I had tons of experiences working various jobs. I working at a truck lot, early AM hours. In a tiny guard shack, I was sleepy. Hear rustling, almost fall out of my chair. Observe nearby hill line, something runs by on my side of the fence. Oh fuck, nope, try to shut the door. Shit crooked on its hinges and won't shut. Right in my daily activities report, 0200, saw chupacabra on lot, fix the goddamn door. My employer reads this daily, actually wrote that because I was quitting soon. The next one is better. In golf cart, probably like 4 a.m., bored as shit, time for donuts. The kind you do, not the kind you eat. Cruising around, shredding up the parking lot, catch a glimpse of reflective eyes in my headlights over toward the building. Drive over. The subject is located between the building and a giant wall, in a garden just under a tree. Looks like a small dog, just digging a hole. Watching it for a while in the safety of the cart, inching closer. The thing looks small, so decide to chase it off so it stops ruining the garden. Exit cart. Walk over with a flashlight shining on it. Making noise, it doesn't care, just keeps frantically digging. I still can't make out what it is, only see its eye reflection. Get pretty damn close, within maybe 60 feet, stomping to get its attention. Stops digging, instantly stands up on 2 legs. It's not a fucking dog, it's like 6 feet tall. Freeze in my tracks, hand on 380 in my pocket. Not dumb enough to not carry, doing something that makes bums want to stab you. Back up slowly, get back in the cart and peel out of there. Thing starts heading deeper into the garden. Radio coworker inside building. Me. There's something in the garden, some kind of large animal, last seen headed your way, stay inside. Radios me back that he's going to check it out from the window over the garden. 5 minutes later, him. Get inside, get inside, get inside. Peel off toward the door, go inside, meet him by the window. Says he saw something huge that looked like a person with glowing eyes, but moved around not like a person. Like its joints were weird, and it twitched while it walked. Watching for the rest of the night with our phones ready to film it. Never comes back. In the morning, go check the garden. A giant hole like 4 feet wide, 3 feet deep, thick root is ripped up like nothing. Check on it next shift, the hole is filled. Creeps me out because it could have been maintenance, or it could have been the thing came back and buried whatever it was trying to bury.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel, as more Greentext will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.